Holiday cards are a lot of fun to make, and of course, we all want to create beautiful holiday cards during holiday season. But there are some cards that are just so special, even though they don't celebrate a specific holiday. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel, and in today's video, I'll be focusing on two different Spellbinders collections that allow you to create some super fun cards that can be used all throughout the year. First, let's take a look at the Beads of Friendship collection. This is the Bestie sentiment set. It is a press plate and die set. So you can use them in your BetterPress, like I did here with black ink, and then die cut them out. There's one press plate and one die, so you can also use them in your Glimmer machine and cut those out. These are the Beads of Friendship alphabet beads. They are press plate and dies. I believe there are also stamps and dies available if you would prefer that. I also glimmered these and tried them in different colors as well. Next, we have the die set that's called Bestie Beaded Bracelets. So you can create all different shapes of little beads, and then you can also cut out straight bracelets or bracelets in an oval shape and those clasps as well. This is the Heart Hands die set. They come with their own bracelets and beads, and this is the Heart in Hands die set, which you can use with those circular bracelets from the original beads die that I showed you. So I am taking two different colors of Distress Oxide ink to make two hands. They'll be from two different friends. So I used Tea Dye and Tattered Rose here, and now I have those oval shaped bracelets. I'll put a little adhesive on one side of the bracelet, put it around the wrist, and then adhere it to that wrist there so that it's not going to go anywhere. You can see I cut them out of gold mirror cardstock, black cardstock, and white cardstock. And then you can place little dots of adhesive on these little circular areas of the bracelets, and those are perfect for adding your beads. So I do have some alphabet beads first. So each hand is going to have a sentiment and then also some colorful beads. You could do this on the bracelets before you put it on the hand, but I liked putting it on the hand first for this one so I could see how many beads I need, because obviously you're not going to put beads where you can't see them behind the arm. So this just makes it a little bit easier to figure out how many beads you need and not waste any beads by running them all around the bracelet. So you can see I have love on one hand, you on the other, best on one hand, and friend on the other. And then I just filled in with some colorful and gold mirror beads as well. Next, I embossed a 5x7 piece of white cardstock with the August embossing folder of the month, which is now available to purchase individually. And I love this one. It's a great subtle background and it has a lot of uses because it's just sort of whimsical lines. So I did cut that down a quarter on each side. So it would be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 now. And I matted it on white cardstock that was 5x7. And I'll take one of the hands. This is the hand that is going to be outstretched, and I'll pop it up on some foam white squares. Now I did want to see where the other hand would place perfectly. Once that's adhered, I'll flip it over and cut off the excess of the arm so it's not just hanging off the side. And then I will pop up the other hand as well. This hand is going to be dropping something into the palm of the first hand, and that is this glitter heart. So the heart comes with the two hands in that die set, and then the beads and the bracelets are separate in their own die set. Okay, so then I'll trim off the excess of that second hand there, and then I'll pop up one of the sentiments that I better pressed in black ink and just add that underneath. It says, "You're my closest friend." These are really wonderful friend sentiments and images. For this card, I wanted to create a really colorful, fun, almost tie-dye looking background. So I have some Distress Spritz in Kitsch Flamingo. That's a new color that was released, worn lipstick as well, and picked raspberry. And you can see I'm just splattering those across a piece of watercolor paper because I know I'm gonna get this background really, really soaked with different spritzes and also some water and things. So once I have one layer done, I will heat set that so that it kind of stays as is. Next, I'll add a little bit of tumbled glass, which is my favorite ink color, but it's a little bit darker in the spritz. So then I added a little bit of purple as well, and then went back in with some more Kitsch Flamingo, picked raspberry, and then I went to the mica spray, and that blue was the blue I was looking for. I also added some Altenew white spritz and gold spritz. I really went to town on this background, and finally a little bit of water to pick up some of the color. I'll cut that down to 4 by 5.25, and then these heart hands come with 2 layers. It's kind of like a shaded layer or a shadow layer. So I'll add a little bit of Distress Oxide ink to the top of that layer and then adhere it right on top of that bottom layer. So you can see it just adds a little outline to those hands, which I think makes it easier to see, and also to see the fingers, it looks a little bit more natural. So I'll adhere down that panel to an A2 piece of white cardstock. And then, as I mentioned, these heart hands have their own bracelets. So they have a background, and then they have a string of beads, and then they also have individual beads. So you can really add some colors and some metallics, pop them up, whatever you want, but they are fun to add to these little heart hands. I put 2 on one hand and 1 on the other, and then I'll pop up the sentiment right inside the heart that's made by the hands, but I decided I wanted to add another sentiment right on top, and I just think the design of that really flows well together, and that background was so much fun to create. Next up, I'll go back to those large blending brushes by Spellbinders. Anybody who says they have a heavy hand with ink, these are the brushes for you because they are super fluffy, super large, so you can just put a little bit of ink on them. You can start off the card and then work your way in, and look at how light that rainbow is. That is something I could never have achieved before because I am typically very heavy-handed. So I have a few bracelets just put down so I can see where I will lay them, and then I'll add the sentiment popped up on some foam squares. Next, I'll add a little bit of liquid adhesive behind the bracelets and on the clasps so I can add clasps. So you can see that I cut all the clasps out of gold mirror cardstock, even for the black bracelet and the white bracelets. And then I have one gold bracelet as well. And I love those little clasps. They make it just really easy to add that little extra something special on the end of the bracelets to make them look realistic. So each of these bracelets will have a sentiment and some of the different shapes, and it's easy to pick out all of the letters that you need. Just kind of toss through and get rid of anything you don't need. So this sentiment says best ever true friend, and then the actual sentiment says tied to you with a smile. Now I have lots of room to play with beads. So in the upper bracelet, I'm matching the colors of the beads to the color of the rainbow that's behind them. So I have a pink, orange, and yellow at the top, blues, greens, and yellows in the middle, and then blue and green at the bottom, and then finally some purples and blues and a dark, dark pink at the very bottom. These little butterflies actually come with little teeny tiny die cuts for the center of the butterfly, and the flowers also have little teeny tiny die cuts for the centers of the flowers. So I did those in gold mirror cardstock, and it just looks so cute. I wish I had these bracelets in real life. They're so much fun. The next collection we'll take a look at is the Shine Bright collection designed by Carissa Wiley for Spellbinders. First, I'm using the Disco Impressions press plates in the Glimmer machine with some rainbow foil to create a few disco balls, and also the Shine On sentiments in the Glimmer machine with rainbow foil so that I have a bunch of items to work with. Check out how gorgeous those disco balls look in rainbow foil. They are so much fun. There's also dies to cut them out. This is the Glimmer plate from the Shine Bright collection, and I am using it on half an A2 piece of white cardstock. Here are those Shine On sentiments in rainbow foil, and then I'll flip that cardstock over to get the other half done. So I want an entire A2 background of that shine marks there. And then you also have these tiny little stars and shine marks as well. So I didn't completely line it up, but it's okay because we're going to cover the center with a disco ball. Here I wanted to show you the Glimmer specialty clear paper sheets that you can glimmer with any of the Glimmer foils and any of the press plates or Glimmer plates. I love that we have that option of those transparent sheets. So I'm cutting that background that we glimmered down to 4 by 5 1/4, putting some foam on the back, and then popping it up on an A2 piece of white cardstock. As I mentioned, I'll cover up the center of it with one of those disco balls, and I'll pop that up, and then I'll pop up the sentiment right on top, and then adhere some of those little sparkles down to the card as well. So easy to put this together once it's all glimmered, and just such a fun card for a friend. For the next card, I'll cut out one of the fresh picked labels and tags dies from an A2 piece of white cardstock, and then I'll adhere that down on the transparency that we glimmered with the disco ball. Behind that, I'll place some foam lines and then place this down on top of an A2 piece of white cardstock that had shaker goodies in the center of it. I'll pop up one of those sentiments that I foiled from the Shine Bright sentiments, and then add a popped up smaller disco ball that's on just white cardstock. And then I had some extra of these little shine marks or glimmer marks from the glimmered shine marks. And so I'll add those with a little bit of liquid adhesive. And I love how easy this shaker came together and how the rainbow shaker window looks on this card. Here I have the Shine Bright dies. You can cut out the letters and a shadow. So I've cut the letters out of gold mirror cardstock and the shadow out of pink glitter cardstock. Then you can get the disco balls dies as well as the press plates, or instead of, whatever you want. I love having both of them because you can then cut it out of silver mirror cardstock or something fun like that to create a really easy die cut card with no stamping or anything. I don't know about you, but these are the types of cards that I really enjoy making. Whether or not it's for a specific reason or even a person, I really enjoy making cards that can be used throughout the year for lots of different people. But I'd love to hear if anything caught your eye today. Let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon.